Soccerwidow here. Very welcome to my little tutorial about identifying market inflection points using the HDA tables. And today is actually very new as well. It's the very first time I'm recording using a live stream with my own video in the corner, and you get an idea how I actually look like, the lady behind Soccerwidow. I hope you enjoy. So going straight into the HDA tables, you land on the button by team simulations, which show you what would have happened if you would have backed a particular team over the last 5 years. But this is not the tutorial about today, but I want to show you that you need to be aware that the HDA tables are based on the maximum bookmaker odds in the markets. There are maybe 500, 600, 700 bookmakers around. I don't have the exact number. Some of them offer odds for just a very short period of time. So it's very, very unlikely that if you work out a strategy that you will always find the highest odds. It's much cleverer to put in a negative odds toggle, which comes up with approximately 0, or after you have calculated your own odds, that you actually put in the more realistic odds toggle, which is applicable to you personally. So we go to the bugging by odds clusters, because this is where the inflection points come into play. We have here, for example, home odds clusters. There are 20 similar sized clusters. We have tried to play around 95 in one group. Sometimes we have more, like here 111. Sometimes we have less. But in the end, we have pretty similar clusters, but they are not really telling. The power of the HDA table is that you can just change the odds, and now watch, here's the total. If you press enter, it just changes. This is a very, very powerful little table, which is very, very helpful just to play around and see and learn a little bit more about the markets. So we can delete here. I have just copy and pasted from the table. We delete here. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit quick for some Excel users, but I also don't want to bore anybody who is maybe even more advanced than I am. I am starting with 0, I am finishing with 100, and now we are going to play with odds clusters. So look at this 256.66 in the total. I go down to 1.3, so it goes down. I go down to 1.28, it goes up. It's a very, very tight odds cluster. I wouldn't touch it. So 1.3 next starting point, 1.5. I just know already the cluster, so I can be pretty quick in filling this in. So you will have to play a little bit more around here. But with trial and error, you will come up in the end with very similar odds clusters as I have just typed in. So I'm going to mark for you the odds clusters in the English Premier League which have returned a profit over the last 5 years. And you can see that there is one cluster in the middle between 3.5 and 4.5 which also returned a profit. However, I would be very, very, very careful with this cluster, because this may be just something that the bookmakers have been not really aware of the market movements, because you can see this cluster has made profits to the gamblers. So this means they had to pay out more than they had received money. And in 2013-14, they have made sure to reclaim some of the money back. So I would blend it out. Also, it comes up with a positive figure after 5 years, but the likelihood is pretty large that this trend from last year is going to continue, and 2014 and 15 is also going to have a negative return in this cluster. So if you like to bet on home odds in the English Premier Leagues, then you want to look at 1.3 to 1.5 betting odds, or even 1.4 to 1.5, because you can see the change is not really huge. This is odds cluster where bookmakers give pretty, or maybe even slightly higher odds than the fair odds, or the teams win more often than calculated. So, but it's a pretty stable income in this odds cluster group. The far more interesting bit is the odds cluster above 6. There is where bookmakers, if they reduce those odds in the odds clusters 1.5 to 3.5, they have of course to balance it on the other side. Even if you look at the moment only at the home odds clusters, the same applies to the away teams, and this means that the odds 6 and above are the odds which bookmakers increase to encourage people to bet on the favorite away. So I hope my little tutorial helped you, and you have now a better idea what HDA tables are about and the power of them. And that's it for today, and see you soon, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.